have Surfline in our forecasting to help us plan ahead. And with Surfline, we have Kevin Wallis dialing in. Kevin, welcome to the show.
Hey, thanks, Capo. Thanks, Jesse. Good to be here and good to see some waves this morning.
Yeah, and what are we expecting today, Kevin?
Well, we got a new swell on the rise, obviously. It basically went from flat conditions yesterday to pulsing this morning, and it was really good to see that last heat. A couple pretty solid waves roll through. This swell is going to fill in through the morning. The tide's dropping out for another couple hours, so I suspect it'll just get better through the morning, and then we'll have the tide push to the afternoon, and the swell should come up into the afternoon. I don't think it's going to be necessarily any bigger than those set waves that we just saw in that last heat, but we should see more consistency with those types of waves, and good conditions through the morning. We've got trades. Winds may swirl around a little bit this afternoon. I know that's been the case the last couple of days, particularly up, back up towards Tavarua, which is like a mile away from Cloudbreak. But good day of waves and hopefully a couple of good days ahead of us as well.
Yeah, let's talk about the future. What do you see upcoming?
Sure, yeah. So here, today we've got waves running in the 6 to 10, 8 to 10 foot base range. So the big set's probably around double overhead. Heading into tomorrow, this swell's going to come down just a little bit, but we actually have a reinforcing pulse, and then we'll get the same on Friday. So a little bit down tomorrow, and then a little bit down again on Friday, but still good waves and good conditions too. Like tomorrow for winds, pretty much a facsimile of today. Going into Friday, go like real light winds in the morning, just light trades in the morning, just beautiful conditions, great weather. And then we'll probably get a sea breeze in the afternoon on Friday. As we move through the weekend, it's smaller. Like you guys are stoked. It'll be super fun. My suspicion is it'll probably be off, but you can do the commentator's count or whatever. And then as we look towards the end of the waiting period, those last couple days in the 2nd to 4th range, looks like we'll see something pretty solid line up. I think confidence is increasing that that's going to be the biggest swell of the event window.
Wow, unreal. And Kevin, can you tell us a little bit about your studied bathymetry of what makes this wave so special?
Well, it's basically it's out in the middle of the ocean, number one, which is pretty cool. We've got this barrier reef that's well offshore, and it's just a magnet for any sort of swell that is coming out of the Southern Ocean or Tasman Sea for that matter. And it really focuses long period energy, especially so like 16, 17 seconds and above. And it can take a relatively modest swell, a 2-foot swell, a 3-foot swell in deep water, and really turned it into very solid surf, well overhead surf. So it can focus and amplify that long period energy, and take a modest swell and turn it into pretty solid surf. Take a big swell and turn it into giant surf. If you got a 10-foot swell at very long periods, it can be a 40-foot wave on the face. And
Kevin, I want to tap into your mind a little bit more on when we talk about swell period. What's the best swell period, say, for Cloudbreak versus restaurants, which is also on the table?
Yeah, it's two very different things, actually. Generally speaking, Cloudbreak loves long period swell. So anything, it's pretty good on anything from 14 seconds and above. But really, it kind of really comes alive when it's like 16, 17 seconds and above. And if you're lucky to be there when you get a swell that's like 18 to 20 seconds, that's when it's just crazy. You've got these lines that look like they're stretching to Tavarua. If you're paddling into them, they kind of look like they're going to close out, but then they just stay open, and they're so beautiful. Restaurants and the rest of the waves around Tavarua and Namotu prefer a slightly shorter swell period. So we tend to see those when we see storms move into the Tasman. The restaurants is great at like 12 to 15 seconds. You won't get as much energy that's focusing at Cloudbreak. When it's really long period, all that energy pretty much focuses at Cloudbreak, and it kind of leaves restaurants in a bit of a swell void. But when that swell period drops, a lot of times we'll be on the same swell, just be on the backside of a particular swell. You see that swell period comes down, and that's really when restaurants comes alive.
Oh, wow. Well, thank you so much for all the insight, Kevin. We really appreciate the forecasting and all the work that you guys do over there at Surfline.
Yeah, cheers, Capo. Great event lining up. I'm excited to watch over the next few days.
Yeah, we're excited as well. I mean, Surfline, remember, become a premium member of Surfline. You get those extended forecasts and all the cams without commercials. It's well worth the investment. If you are